And hello everybody, I'm here and I'm back. It is beautiful, very sunny, actually very warm Monday today, and I'm gonna do something different when it comes to my channel. Usually people are seeing playing me like horror games, RPG games, but there's one game that I have mentioned several times, actually quite recently, and I'm gonna do a full season, full playthrough of it. Quite a particular set of rules. That game is Formula 197. If you guys cannot read the YouTube title or the stream title, just in case. And also, there's like this big label that's right to the side of my head that says what the game it is. So, basically, I wish to say that this is the first game that I have ever played in my life. Formula 197 was the first game that I got when I was 8 years old, when I got my PlayStation. And I got my controller with it, the DualShock one, and I got this game, as this was my first game. I still have the CD on the shelf, only I'm too lazy of a prick to actually go for that shelf, so yeah, it is what it is. Either way, I'm gonna set up a specific set of rules, specific set of settings for the game. I have noticed that on YouTube there's not a lot of people who have done a full championship with a full race distance and all settings to be turned on. Sure, there are streams of people who have done that game in like maybe 3 hours, but they were doing like 5 laps, not really a lot of settings, basically get into the car, show the game, and just move on. I want to do a full playthrough. I actually want to do a full playthrough of this game for a longest time. It also would say that it's kind of an experiment to see how well our people are gonna receive me playing this video game. Anyway, maybe let's move towards the Formula 197. So, like I said, I'm gonna do the full season with specific settings, and I'm gonna also explain the game. And I'm gonna split this game into several sections. Basically, right now, what you guys see right here, right now, it's gonna be introduction, at least for people on YouTube. For people on Twitch, it's gonna be much more streamlined because I'm gonna stream for like 7 hours a day, so it's gonna allow me to do at least I think 2 or 3 races a day, which is gonna be already pretty good. But yeah, I think it was gonna be a good idea to move to the in-game screen and simply try to explain everything that I'm gonna do. So, like we say, what you see from Formula 187, the full menu of it. I'm using a music over here that basically allows me to fill up the silence of the menu. The music has been provided by Carl Casey from whitebataudio.com, and also the YouTube channel Whitebat Audio. Full credit to him for being able to provide the music. Anyway, I'm decided to mute the menu music because it's copyright issues. I don't want to have any copyright issues with either Twitch or with YouTube. I simply want to avoid having this type of issues. So yeah, okay, I see the chat box working. I'm sorry, I'm being distracted because this is all recorded live. I do not do pre-recordings like at all. Anyway, so first of all, let me get into the emulator. I don't know why my controller doesn't want to really work. I think I understand why, because I'm a doofus. Hold up, guys. I'm just gonna restart the emulator because I'm that talented. This turns out to be looking so prematurely. But yeah, okay, now we are back. So basically, circuit select, I already have picked up the championship. When it comes to driver, we have a large selection of drivers, you know, from every team that was present in 1997. So we have Jos Verstappen, we have John Alesi, Johnny Herbert, even his Michael Schumacher with even his teammates. Basically, every team that was mostly present in 1997 is present in this game. But the thing is, Jacques Villeneuve basically there was a copyright issue with including Jacques Villeneuve as an actual driver. So what they did in this game is they changed the name of Jacques Villeneuve to Williams number 1, and I decided to pick up the Williams Renault also as my team for this season, for this specific playthrough, because I can basically change the Williams number 1 into any name possible. It's an anonymous pretty much driver, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. What is going to be a problem is me having my music a little bit too loud, and anyway, yeah. What I'm trying to say, basically Jacques Villeneuve, copyright issues, could not use his full name or his face. I don't think they even used his helmet, so I basically decided to take Jacques Villeneuve's place, and I'm gonna be the Williams number 1 driver. The car is actually pretty damn good. In a matter of fact, Jacques Villeneuve in real life have won 1997 championship, and in 1996 he was actually giving Damon Hill, which was his teammate in 1996, quite some troubles. But Damon Hill won in 1996 in the end. They had quite a rivalry. So yeah, that's the driver I'm gonna go for. Now, when it comes to explain the gaming settings, the game settings for the Grand Prix. So like I said, the race length is full. I'm gonna drive on every track on the full distance. When it comes to the first track, it's Melbourne, so it's gonna be 58 tracks, but I'm gonna explain everything as I go. I'm just getting right now bombarded with random thoughts in my head as I'm trying to explain everything. Skill setting expert, this is the maximum level of difficulty that the game allows to be set in. I cannot go any higher than this. I have disabled the steering assist and the brake assist because in a matter of fact, steer assist and brake assist makes your game even worse. What do I mean by that? Is basically steer assist is basically automatic driving, and automatic driving is always gonna push you, it's always gonna force you to a specific path that the AI has set up for the game. So you don't really have a lot of freedom of driving in the very end, and every single time you're gonna try to like run past a driver, you're always gonna be pushed towards the middle rather than being able to go around or just be cut in the corner. It's basically gonna be unavailable. Sessions, like I said, I'm gonna do the full races, so it's gonna include practice session, 13 laps, qualify session, also 13 laps plus pit stop every 4 laps, so I can check how is the grid, how much of a difference between me and the other drivers there is, and a race, of course, race, obviously, full race distance. Damage on, because it includes physical damage like broken front and back wing, front of the car getting damaged, wheels getting damaged and eventually detached if I'm gonna allow myself to take that much of a damage. Failures. Now when it comes to the failures, that is actually kind of an RNG option over here. Because technically speaking, you in this game you do not really have a lot of failures available. Sure, you have a little bit of a smoke coming out of the car that could be either explained as an engine malfunction, or it could be also explained as a clutch malfunction, because it basically doesn't really allow you to raise your speed that much. It's basically a problem. And there's a second failure in which the fuel line breaks and your entire car goes into flames. I hope you guys hope that we are gonna notice that. In a matter of fact, it is guaranteed that we're gonna notice that malfunction happening, because any malfunction can happen at any time during the race. And gosh, do I hope that we only gonna get like maybe clutch or slight engine smoking and that's it, because that can be very easily fixed with just driving into the pits and that's it, you're good to go. Just stay for 3 seconds and move on. With the fuel line breaking, that basically car goes into flame, automatically stops, and that's it. The race is over, you did not finish. Sorry, that's all there is to it. Hey Gadsden. Also, yeah, like I said before, I'm doing this in front of the live Twitch chat. Hello, Ice. Now, weather. I decided to go for variable weather. Basically, variable weather setting is when weather during the race, practice session, or qualifying, weather can change from sunny to rainy, even from rainy to from raining to sunny. Basically, the weather can change to any type of weather possible that is scripted by the video game at any point of time. Tire wear, obviously, the more you drive on the same set of tires, the more they're gonna get worn off. That's gonna not really cause that much of a problem with grip or speed, but the tire wear is a thing that is actually quite immersive. So yeah, fuel depletion, obvious, you know, you drive the car, you put the fuel into it, your fuel gets used up, obviously. Tear-offs, now tear-offs, Now, tear-offs is a weird kind of a setting, because if you decide to drive with the camera there's inside of a cockpit, which for 1997 that was already pretty ingenious to have a camera inside of a cockpit. You basically gonna have your screen, not screen, but your front, your visor, everything that's in front of you, getting dirty over time. And basically in real life you can either swipe the dirt off with your glove, or you can tear off like little thin layers of a foil that basically you just remove that foil and you can drive on. And there's several layers of that on every helmet of a Formula 1 driver, and flags. Imagine that. Maybe not imagine. Basically every single in real life Formula 1 has basically those flags. We have green flags, yellow flags, red flags, black and white, and black flag in case of an example of this game. So maybe let's start with the yellow. Yellow flag basically warns us about the danger that is on the track. Basically some NPCs may crash. Or well, not really NPCs, it's the AI can crash, the AI can spin on the corner. In some cases AI can even spin on a straight line, but that's a different thing. So when something like that happens and two cars are colliding with each other, you have a yellow flag, which means you need to stop we need to slow down a little bit before taking a corner, because in front of you there might be a danger. Green flag, that means that the danger is over, you can drive on, you can just speed off as much as you want. Then you have red flag, which pretty much means that it only is for you, as far as I have experienced. And basically red flag means that the race is over for you, your car took too much damage, and that's it. That's all that can be done. Hey monkey, because race car, yes. Black and white flag, that is a warning specifically for the player, which means that if you are gonna do illegal stuff, or when the marshals are gonna say, hey, it's not okay that you do that. If you're gonna do too much of that, you're gonna get disqualified, which is gonna give you a black flag. And that's basically the entire setting. That's the entire setting of the game mode. So I'm gonna start over here, and we're gonna move towards the car setup. So let's start from the top. Gears, I went for the automatic gearbox, because if a racing video game does not put any difference between manual and automatic, and by difference I mean change of speed, change of acceleration, if there's no real actual difference in the performance of a vehicle, or in my performance if I'm using manual, then I just keep it the automatic, and that's what I'm gonna do. Tires. Now tires, basically this setting describes what kind of tires I'm gonna use during the practice, qualifying, and race session. Because we have variable weather setting, you're always gonna start with the sunny weather. So we are not changing tires to like wet or monsoon. We're always gonna start with the slicks, so we're gonna change tires eventually as we drive along. Compound of the tires, you can pick up the compound between soft and hard tires. And soft tires basically have a much better grip in comparison to the hard tires, which can last longer, but they're not going to give you as much speed as you can squeeze out of the soft tires. Suspension is a kind of an enigma of a setting, quite honestly, because not really you're basically better off setting the suspension at 0% at all times, maybe at 5% at specific races. Suspension setting basically sets several things about your car. The stiffness of the suspension, the angle, everything like that is basically set up by one setting and nothing else. So I basically decide to leave this as it is. One thing that I forgot to mention about this is that settings that I'm using over here are gonna mainly remain unchanged throughout the entire season as a form of increasing maybe the difficulty at to some degree at the certain tracks, because some tracks I'm gonna win no matter what, unless the malfunction is gonna appear, and on some tracks winning is actually gonna be more difficult, but therefore it's gonna be more rewarding for me. Brake discs, 30mm brake disc, because the more millimeters the better, because fuck that. No, it's basically 30mm on the brake discs. This setting always works for me the best, and I could not really complain. Brake bias, basically it describes the strength of braking of your car, and I have 40% of a braking strength on the front and 60 at the rear, because let's not forget, the Formula 1 cars are mostly rear engine, rear drive type of, it's a mid-engine rear drive, but it's a mid-engine car, so you really want to put a little bit more power of the brakes on the rear, so you actually can fit into the corner and not freaking have an understeering in any way, shape, or form. You're ready to judge my driver skills? You are very welcome. And front and the rear downforce, I have set it up to 100%, because that's where the difficulty also comes from. The more downforce you're gonna put in, the better you're gonna stick to the corners, and better you have a cornering, but the speed on the straight is gonna get severely hampered. Problem is, in this game, no matter how much downforce you're gonna set up, the AI cars are always gonna be slightly, if not even a lot faster on the straight line, so we basically have to always remember that. But I always set up the front and rear downforce to 100%, because why the heck not? Now the fuel load. When it comes to fuel load, I am setting the fuel load in the following way: 13 laps for practice and qualifying session, and half of the number of laps when it comes to the full race distance. So yeah, it is what it is. Hey, yeah, I also really like the music in this game. This is not the actual an actual in-game music, but the original music, I sadly cannot use it. I sadly cannot use the music because copyright issues, and I simply don't want to get copyright striked over the place. But yeah, I mean, load save, that basically is loading and saving the game, so that's not really much of a reason to explain everything. But yeah, that's all when it comes to explaining of the rules and what team I've decided to take. I hope I explained it the best of my abilities. For people on Twitch, we're gonna move to the practice session of the game, while when it comes to people on YouTube, that explanation is gonna be an intro to this particular playthrough. So once again, guys, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.